We're so effed.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of our mighty adventure with Frank, our new H2. And as you recall in the last episode, Paul here, who was kind enough to sell us this H2, also said that it came with a bull bar. So Paul, you promised me that you were going to give me the parts once you got them out of your old home, and you did. And you're asking $475 for it?
Yes.
And you'll take 14?
14, yeah.
And you'll give me the parts?
Yep.
You'll give
roof rack and the push bar.
You can promise that?
Yeah, I'll promise that.
All right, done. I'm buying it. I love the fact, this is a really cool surprise, that the bull bar actually comes with driving lights, and that the roof racks, you said, you can actually attach stuff to, right?
Right.
Now, will you help me put these on? Because it would take me like 2 hours, and you probably know how to do this.
Sure, they're real easy to bolt on.
All right.
Easy to adjust as well. So we need to pop out this piece. This middle piece right here needs to pop out to get access to the bolts.
Which would you rather have, needle nose or screwdriver or both?
Both. These parts are real easy to bolt off and on, so back up.
This is literally a 5-minute job.
Yeah, all these parts really bolt on.
So as you guys know, we only hold on to our vehicles for a year or two at most, probably not even that long. And Andre wants this truck. He's fallen in love with it, so he's going to be so stoked to know that he's got fake KCs, right? Those aren't KCs.
They're Bosch.
They're Bosch. Why does it say KC?
I just put the covers on.
Yeah. Make it look
Protect the lights.
All right. How do you plug them in?
I'll show you.
All right. Andre, this is for you. Sorry, dude. Not KCs, Bosch. So not American, but German. Do they go in a certain way?
Yep. There's only one way to do it.
Let's see. Doesn't it? Oh, look at that. That looks cool. Is there a special switch for it?
Yeah, I put in the switch right here on the back.
Look at that. That is so factory. Andre, the price of the Hummer has just gone up by $500, all right? Just know that. All right, so tell me about these bad boys.
Yeah, see, these are the factory roof racks.
Yeah.
What you do is you take the cap off, and when you remove the caps on one side or the other, you could slide in ski racks. You could slide in a cargo box. It's very modular.
Yeah, it's really cool. They're aluminum, so they're not going to rust.
Right. See where the two hooks dropped in? A little slot there. And then they just slide forward.
That's super easy.
Line them up to the
Little markings.
to the markings you want. It has little arrows, and then you tighten them down.
Hey guys, I am so psyched to have these new parts now on the H2, because this week we've done so much with this truck. We've actually drag raced it against a Toyota 4Runner, and we took it up Gold Mine Hill. But you know what? Let me just shut up and show you.
Welcome to another fun episode of Old versus New.
That's right, they are old versus new, but they're very different vehicles, but they have a lot in common. And that is the 2018 Toyota 4Runner, and of course, the 2003 Hummer H2.
Our project truck, I call him Frank. And this is Frank's first proper off-road test. I'm very nervous because it was broken before and it might break again, and we're going up Gold Mine Hill.
There's a lot in common between these two trucks. It's kind of surprising, but let's get to numbers first. Its approach angle is 33 degrees. It's decent, but the Hummer's is a lot better. Its departure angle is 26 degrees, and it has 9.6 inches of ground clearance. That's pretty good, and it shouldn't have any problems going up Gold Mine Hill. This has a proper truck frame, proper truck solid axle, independent front end, just like the Hummer. They're not even that different when it comes to power. And the reason why is because even though this is around 1,000 pounds lighter than the Hummer, it has an older V6, the 4-liter, and in terms of power per ton, I think they're really close. Super high tech in here, but before we get to that, I wanted to make a quick comment about the whole dash layout, all these knobs. Look how big and chunky they are. Perfect for a gorilla like me, just reach out and grab and turn. They feel very substantial. Love it. You know what else feels substantial is this. No silly dial to put it into gear. In this case, I'm gonna put it into neutral. The reason why is I'm gonna go from 4 high to 4 low. Boom. Now I'm in 4 low. So look up here. This is the crawl control 8-track system right up here. So what I'm gonna do is first I'm gonna put it into heavy off-road, okay? Totally not needed for the first obstacle and probably not for the second obstacle, but I like overkill because once again, lots of tech. And then I'm going to trigger the rear locker. So now rear end's locked up, it's beefed up for off-road, and if I wanted to, I could use this as I go uphill. I hit this button and rotate this, and progressively it goes uphill the same way as hill descent control would go downhill. So nice and smooth on low and medium, probably about 5 miles per hour, and high a little bit more than that. But the point is that I could use this. I don't like using this system, but a lot of people who are afraid going up off-road obstacles, this is really good for. Let's see here. All right. Now there's a lot of ice on here. So earlier I noticed that there's a lot of low traction areas. Currently, not a problem. A little slippage right there in the rear. Not a big deal. Beautiful day to go off-roading too. And this isn't really off-roading. Let's face it. Goldmine Hill is not a big challenge for real trucks and 4x4s. It's a minor challenge at best. What you really want to do is go up Cliffhanger, which unfortunately is completely snowed in for the season. So we're not going to be able to do anything until sometime in spring. Alright, so first obstacle done. No problem.
Goldmine Hill is pretty easy for a 4Runner, I'm afraid. The only challenge today is some ice and melting snow that's on the ground. But my concern is with the Hummer H2, how wide that truck is, how big it is. I really hope I can make it around this corner and up stage 3 without braking.
When you're in 4 low and you have your setting for heavy rock, it really is a traction control setting. Oh, there's some ice here. That could be interesting. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Nothing slipped. What will be interesting is seeing if you can get the H2 around that corner. Because that H2 is like a foot wider than this thing. Oh my god, he's going to have such a rough time. That hole is getting really big.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
That is no longer a rut, that is a hole.
That's a large hole, a lot of articulation here. You see how deep that is? Yeah, come on.
Third obstacle. Nice easy cruise. It's gonna articulate no matter what, but it doesn't care. I haven't even moved a speck of dirt. I swear to God, haven't lost any traction. And these tires are street bias, so.
What? Not a single slip?
Nope, not a single slip.
How about we drag race?
Yeah!
Let's do a drag race. So why are we here at IMI Motorsports, our test track, drag racing off-roaders?
This is Decano, Colorado, and there's a very good reason. We're a mile above sea level, and imagine if you're on an on-ramp and you want to go flying up against somebody next to you, right? Well, this is a really good way to ascertain whether or not your vehicle is fast.
And if you think the 4Runner is a lightweight off-roader that is a race car, well, you might be surprised.
Yeah, it weighs close to 5,500 pounds. Behold, the good old-fashioned 4-liter V6. This is a good old engine from Toyota. Puts out 270 horsepower and 278 pound-feet of torque. And it's hooked up to a 5-speed automatic transmission. Here's the crazy part. This is really an old setup, but it's connected to a very high-tech off-road system. Now, all of this old tech means a combined 18 mpg.
I just love how this hood opens forward. It's just so unique. And under the hood is a good old 6-liter Vortec V8 that's rated at 316 horsepower and 360 pound-feet of torque. And it's made it to an old school 4-speed automatic transmission. This is not a high efficiency vehicle by any means. And it's really heavy, about 6,500 pounds. And it's got gigantic 35-inch tall tires and 410 gear ratio. It's like a brick. I don't have any sport mode, and I'm using 4-wheel drive because I have to. Once again, his 4Runner is lighter, but I have a lot more torque and power in the V8.
Off the line, we're neck and neck. I'm pulling ahead. Oh, I'm not losing him that quickly.
Ooh! It's a car length! Oh, he's pulling away!
You know, off the line, we were neck and neck.
Like this!
Yeah, and I didn't pull that far ahead of you. It's just that when it changed gears, I lunged forward and then you were stuck on my bumper.
And I think it was a little bit more than the car length.
Yeah.
But at the higher speed, you started to take off. I think the brick-like quality of my vehicle doesn't help.
Yeah, the slight lack of aerodynamics, right?
We've thought long and hard about what to do with old Frank here, and we've come up with the ultimate overland vehicle. Think about it. This is, in a way, already halfway there. I mean, it's huge, you could sleep in the back. It just needs a few more things like a snorkel, maybe a cool wrap, and our theme, wait for it, jungle chic. That's where we're going next.
Here's a question. Which air filter is better? Is it the paper one that you can throw away and replace? Or is it the reusable one that you can oil yourself and keep using?
Which one of these is better for power delivery?
Yeah, we need to do a 0 to 60, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there a measurable difference? And I don't think there will be.
I don't think so either. My personal experience has always been with these types of filters, the only gains that you get are with throttle response, and it usually sounds better. Now look at this thing. I call it a baff, a big ass filter. That is big. It's actually about the size of 2 large toilet paper rolls right there. I don't know, in case you're in the wild and you need something. The point is that although this is paper, don't think of this as regular paper. This is specially treated. And airflow through here, according to many companies, is good for about 10,000 miles, give or take. If you off-road or whatnot, obviously shorter lifespan. Now, here is the plus for this filter. When you first put it in, supposedly it'll have a slightly higher percentage of particulates that it will guard against getting into your engine, just for a little while. After that, then it drops down significantly and the oil filter is better. But that's about all I got on this because quite frankly, I mean, $80 for a paper filter, it's a lot of money. Revving and away we go. All right. It's 11.5, heading this direction. Relatively slow, but we're up at high elevation, and this truck here is not light.
First, the benefit of a reusable filter. Of course, it's reusable. You can clean it, you can reuse it and continue using it. Some manufacturers say for up to 1 million miles. And see, inside of the filter is actually pretty clean. Of course, this one's been used for quite some time and has to be cleaned. Okay, so this is the oiled filter?
So that oil filter is a used filter, but it has been completely cleaned out. Am I correct?
Well, I did it.
That's right, you did it. Did you rinse it by going the inside out and all that stuff?
Yeah, I did inside out, outside in, everything.
Okay. Well, fair enough. So technically speaking, this should be a less restrictive filter.
Okay.
See what happens.
Well, I don't know. I'm betting nothing will change.
I don't
What do
think
you
so.
say?
Well, we'll see. If it's, I think a noticeable difference would be, say, you know, a quarter of a second better. All right, let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay, 0 to 60 with the oiled filter. Normally when you put in a less restrictive air filter, especially if you put in like a cone and you get rid of the box that your original filter was in, you'll hear it. You'll hear like a lot more noise. In this case, it sounds exactly the same because we're still using the box. Okay, so my first run was the fastest at 11.5. Second run was 11.69. Third run was 11.65. That's with the oiled filter. And this last one was 11.8 with the oiled filter. Yay! There's no difference. I do know one thing. You will save money in the long run with the filter you can wash and reuse.
Yeah.
That I know.
Yeah, especially with this Hummer H2, because that paper filter is over 80 bucks.
Over $80 for a filter.
No, that's
paper
not cool.
filter.
Not cool.
All right, so let's see. We've taken the Toyota up Goldmine Hill. We have drag raced it against this truck. We've seen how this truck does with a different air filter, but I think it's time to take this up Goldmine Hill. Let's go to that video right now.
Off-roading. Before we go up Goldmine Hill, I really want to remove these, and I need a 3/8 Allen wrench, and there's also a pin that holds the screw in place, so I need to remove it. But let me just check the difference of clearance. That's about 1 foot, 12 inches to the step. But after removing, there's 16 and a half, so 4 extra inches of clearance. And I think I need all the clearance on the final stage of Goldmine Hill. So these are supposed to unscrew by hand and then you can pull off the step, but sometimes they get stubborn, especially after a few years like this one. But Hummer provided the Allen wrench on that knob, so it can help you get some leverage. There, I got it. I put a little WD-40 on it too to get it a little bit looser. The H2 has several strengths when it comes to off-roading, and it also has several weaknesses. First, let's talk about the strengths. It has really good ground clearance, 10 inches underneath. It has a 40.4 degree approach angle, a lot better than the 4Runner, and a 39.6 departure angle. Once again, really excellent stuff. It also has a rear axle with a locker. It has a transfer case with low gearing. It has 410 differential gear ratio, but there are some weaknesses. As you may know, the front suspension design is not strong enough. Look at that front tie rod end. This is what I'm talking about. This tie rod end is actually thinner than my finger. We really need to upgrade this. It looks like a toothpick when you look at the vehicle, and they can snap when you go off-roading. By today's standards, the H2 may seem like a dinosaur, but it has a lot of neat features that were pretty advanced for 2003. First of all, 4High is a regular mode, full-time four-wheel drive system. This 4High lock means it's splitting the power front to rear. I also have a rear locker, which I'll be using partially. And there's also 4Low. To shift into 4Low, I do have to go into neutral, hit 4Low, boom, when it stops blinking, that means it's engaged. This truck has 2 traction control settings, and 2 means it's more off-road ready. It will give me a little bit more wheel spin. I also have a height control because this is an adventure package H2, and it does have some extra features, including rear air shocks that can level me out and also raise the rear of the truck. Some of you have said, how come the Hummer H2 is on the truck channel? What's going on? Well, we consider it the truck because it has a truck frame. Actually, it has 2 truck frames underneath. The front section is from a heavy-duty GM truck. The rear is from a light-duty truck. And the center, sort of the floor pan area, the cab area, is from a Tahoe. And the rest of it, as far as the cab is concerned, is Hummer. The interior is shared with a lot of GM trucks of the same era. And these seats and a lot of the switches remind me of my 2002 Duramax 2500. I do have a bit of an advantage. I do have BF Goodrich KO, original KO tires on this H2. The first rocky stage of the Goldmine Hill has been done.
This is the oh crap moment for Andre. This is the first one at least, because this is a really narrow turn. We've done it in the Raptor before, which is about the same width as the Hummer, but the Raptor is a little bit lighter on its toes, and it was probably being driven by Roman. Andre is very worried about scratching the vehicle or running over small animals, especially moose or squirrel. So we'll have to see what he does. I'm really hoping for some damage.
Like I said before, the H2 is a good off-roader.
Come on, floor it!
I'm not gonna floor it!
Might want to lock your rear diff.
Okay, let me engage my locker. This is my second attempt at stage 2 in the H2. Okay, the icy section caught me off guard a little bit. I was obviously taking a different line as Nathan because this is a giant truck. It's so much wider than the 4Runner. Am I gonna fit?
Sure!
Okay.
Just give me a minute.
I'm gonna fold my mirrors. I'm gonna get as skinny as I can. Okay, let's see how wide the 4Runner is, window to window, not counting the door handles or the mirrors. 64 inches. Let's see how much wider the Hummer is. 76 inches on the H2. That's a lot wider than the 4Runner.
Okay, comrade, сюда!
This was a $50,000 truck back in '03, which was kind of a lot of money. I'm gonna maintain momentum. I have a lot of clearance, and I have a lot of approach and departure angle.
It was a little narrow, but you made it just fine, at least with the mirrors in. I was hoping for a little bit more wheel slippage, but that would actually bother me if the Hummer had a problem with this.
Haha! Power folding mirrors.
Yeah, it does help. Actually, I use them quite often when I have them.
Yeah, this was a good first test.
Did you lock up the rear end over there?
Finally I did, and helped me out. But I think we have to do Cliffhanger 2.0.
Oh, without a doubt. Andre,
Yeah,
I like big butts.
you cannot lie.
I cannot lie. They look pretty good from the back.
The H2 is a gigantic box.
Yeah, then the 4Runner's a slightly smaller box, that's for sure. But, you know, I mean, this wasn't really much of a challenge for either of us, but you did lose a little bit of traction, and it's not easy piloting that monster through this narrow course.
Well, guys, the more we do with Frank, the more I'm falling in love with him. But once again, Andre, if you're going to want this one, we're all done with it. Price just got $500 more expensive, and you know why. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Truck. Check out tfltruck.com for more news, views, and of course, Hummer H2 real-world adventure reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.